This is my post-fight review for Jules Groves versus Badou Jack for the WBC Super Middleweight Championship of the World, which is fought in the undercard of Berto versus Mayweather, or Mayweather versus Berto. As I mentioned in the preview to this fight, many people in the UK, a lot of British fans, believed all Jules Groves had to do was to simply turn up in America, get into good shape, and he'd be good enough to beat Badou Jack. And everybody I spoke to, or most people I spoke to, was questioning why I believed that it wasn't a foregone conclusion that George Groves would win the world title. And there was a few things that concerned me. First and foremost, George Groves hadn't fought since Tony Bellew and Nathan Cleverly fought in their rematch. That was almost a year ago. 2. George Groves struggles at super middleweight. Rumour is he walks around 14 stone. And if you look at his fights, he tends to tire in the second half of his fights. 3. The Adam Booth effect. I think that since George Groves has left Adam Booth, he hasn't improved as a fighter. In fact, he stagnated. Before, I believed George Groves had the in and out movement side to side. It was like a sniper. He'd hit you and then he was gone. You know, that helped with the whole punch power. So he'd catch you by surprise and hit you with a good shot. Now, when he left Adam Booth and he joined Paddy Fitzpatrick implemented a style now where George Groves is simply a slugger, holds his feet in the centre of the ring and tries to bang with you. George Groves does not possess the greatest of chins, and it's not one to absorb a lot of punishment well. And also, being that he's holding his feet more, he's more susceptible to getting hit more often. So, going into this Badou Jack fight, many people thought that all he had to do was hit Badou Jack on the chin and it'd be all over. And I did say, within the first 6 rounds of this fight, Groves had to land early and hurt Badou Jack. Unfortunately, within the first 30 seconds, it was Jack that landed on Groves and had dropped Groves. And I also said to fight fans, hey, watch out with Badou Jack. This guy punches. And of course, Groves was on the deck, got up, tried to get back into the fight. But at no point in time of that fight did George Groves look like he was going to win the fight. He always looked like he was chasing the fight for me. Some fight fans believe that George Groves won the fight. I don't see how he won the fight. He was getting hit with the right hand countless times throughout the night. Jack's punches were far more cleaner. A lot of George Groves' work was caught on the gloves and the arms and the forearms of Badou Jack. And when Groves did connect, unfortunately, it didn't have the effect that Derek Edwards had on Badou Jack. So, where does George Groves go from here? He, as I said before, second half of the fight, started blowing heavy, and Badou Jack took over, working the body and head, great body shots he was landing, and at times he looked like he'd got George Groves out of there. My suggestion to George Groves now, the only possibility he could have now of a world title shot possibly could be against Arthur Abraham. I think if I were George Groves, I'd move up to light heavyweight and try and challenge Bramer for the light heavyweight championship. And I think it's time now for George Groves to potentially look at getting a new trainer. And I don't think he would fade in the second half of fights if he was fighting a light heavyweight, because of course less weight for him to take off. Bearing in mind, he's going to get hit a lot harder. Fighters such as Kovalev and Stevenson are no-nos. A big lucrative fight with Nathan Cleverly is always a good possibility. Guys like Fonfara might be a good fight for George Groves as well. But I think the Bramer fight seems a very good fight. He's with Sauerland. Why not go with the Bramer fight? Fighting Bramer. Bramer, I think, is the way forward, and try and get himself amongst the light heavyweights in Great Britain first. That's where I think George Groves should go. If De Gea wants to fight him, then I guess, but George Groves can always walk away into the sunset saying, I beat you as a pro, I beat you in the amateurs, and leave it as that. But George Groves left Adam Booth at a time, I think, that he should have at least secured a world title. He didn't do that. And there'll be those that will say George Groves is world class. I said it before, and I'll say it again. George Groves has done nothing to suggest he's a world class fighter. His best win was against Glenn Johnson. People keep talking about the DeGale fight. I personally didn't think he beat DeGale. So when you look at that, you've got to look at the Glenn Johnson fight. Paul Smith fight, well, he got cracked in the first round, caught badly in the first round by Smith at the end of the first round. And he did the job business on Smith in the second, but DeGale had already beaten Smith. So all in all, George Groves needs to really pay attention to the finer details of boxing. For me, he needs to be back in the ring as soon as possible. Certainly, maybe fighting at light heavyweight. He needs to be more active as a fighter. He needs to stop running down fighters and saying that he's far better than them when Badou Jack proved he wasn't. And he needs to really focus on what he wants to do in his career. But he needs to get rid of his trainer, because that partnership is not working. It didn't work then. It's not working now. In fact, it's not worked in 2 world title shots. Count the Froch fight as well. So that's 2 world title shots. 2 world title shots. With the Froch fight where he got KO'd, and the Badou Jack where he almost got KO'd. So those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think. I'm out.